If you're not climate smart, you will not be resource smart or cost smart. So you better get on the train and not be left on the platform.
Welcome to Glasgow, Scotland. I'm here at the COP26. I'm speaking with Jesper Brodin, who is the Chief Executive Officer of IKEA. Jesper, what have you picked up in the couple of days that you've been here about IKEA's role in trying to help the world be less warm, as it were?
Yes, no, but I think two things stands out, and I think the way I see it, massive progress. So we are actually heading towards 1.8, 1.7, and of course we're not at 1.5 degree, which we need to be.
And
humanity.
1.8, going back to pre-industrial levels.
Yeah, basically, the Paris Agreement set out 2 degrees is the maximum we can afford. And then it was updated to 1.5 with the recent science.
Keep it 1.5 alive.
Yeah, keep it
what's interesting is you say we've gone to that because we started with it, I guess 2.6, 2.8.
Well, some people debate this even more. Yeah. So basically I would say the progress is that we are actually seeing the ratchet mechanism working and that we are getting in the right direction. And then on the other hand, we don't have success yet. So we have commitments, we have plans, we have mobilization, but we need to be at 1.5.
Yeah.
And we need to see real actions behind the promises.
Yeah, well, there's a few more days left here. We've got really another week to hash something out. It is extraordinary progress. What have you guys been doing specifically? What is the role that you have played in making that happen?
Well, our role is, of course, pre and post COP. So we have been, since many years, we've been committed to a climate positive goal, which is 2030 already, not 40, not 50.
And this is for IKEA as a
This
whole.
is for the whole IKEA, and technically we refer to scope 3, which basically means from forest all the way to life at home, production, transport and all of it, which means that we are in different parts of IKEA as we speak, not doing symbolic or piloting ideas, but actually into hard transformation of our economic model.
How has that gone over with? I'm just sort of curious. I think about the scope 3 in particular, or you go out to suppliers, and I think about the textiles that you use, the wood, the plastics.
Yeah.
I mean, is this a difficult conversation you're having with them, or is it just a sort of not difficult because it's like you either do it or we go to another supplier?
Well, we have a tradition of very long-term relations, so we would never approach somebody anywhere now to say take it or leave it. But I would say it's both and. It's difficult because we're in transition, and it means investments, it means leaps of faith in certain areas. But you would be surprised on how modern people are, how much they are parents, they are caring, but they also care for the business model like I do, meaning that as much as this is ethically right, brand-wise right to do, this is the only way we can be affordable tomorrow.
Yeah. And what else are you doing here? You're part of an alliance that's trying to work. You're not just here as IKEA.
No, we are here to represent ourselves and our responsibility, of course. But then you have, I think more and more of us corporates now realize that there are things we can't simply do alone. We need to bundle volume and work in an unprecedented way together. So I'm co-sharing together with Christian Mumenthaler at Swiss Re, something called the WestCO Climate Alliance. We are 113 companies. Would we be a country, we would be the third biggest in the world from a climate
GDP,
from a climate footprint at least. 8 million people, employees, 24 countries. So this is a group of course, voluntary CEOs who steps in to actually take a leadership into this space.
And this is part of the WEF, so it's a World Economic Forum.
It is.
So this is kind of like a precursor to Davos, I guess, to some degree. I mean,
the journey continues. Davos will be yet another moment where I think we will see even more firm commitments and even more clarity around the plans.
Oh, really? You think we will see more of that?
Yeah, absolutely. The corporate leaders are not waiting for anybody else to set the targets or set the economy right. So that's also why we approach politicians and leaders to say, we are here, we stand by firmly behind making the wrong subsidies obsolete, incentivize first movers, and make sure that we all create plans to mitigate the future.
Now you're based in Sweden, right?
Sweden, Netherlands, and the world.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, you have one of your most famous Swedish countrymates is here. She's having a protest this weekend.
Who could that be?
Greta Thunberg. I mean, what it is really important. I mean, Friday is Youth Day at the COP, and there is this extraordinary question: how do you, if you don't get the youth who really have to own this in so many ways on board, then the whole thing is a bit of a sham. I mean, how do you guys think about that? Particularly when you think about the CEO Council, which is not a bunch of kids.
So we also have a council with youth leaders that we use, and we build basically. I think we build trust, but we also build respect for our different roles in this. And I think I and leaders that I meet have the highest respect for the kids who take to the streets to voice their frustration. But the frustration is not good. It's going to lead to cynicism and the opposite of trust. So I think what we need to do is to show up with transparency, show what we do, and invite people to dialogue and support us in the work that we have to do.
Yeah, and you're a private company. Mm-hmm. So I mean, it's kind of interesting because one of the conversations that I have a lot is with public companies, and the CEOs feel that they're under a fair amount of pressure from their shareholders who are the likes of BlackRock or whatever to be more sustainable, to promote sustainability and climate, to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. You don't have that pressure, but I guess it's. You don't need it. I mean, your shareholder.
Well,
must have
our structure is a foundation,
yeah.
which is, in the end of the day, it's a charitable people and planet foundation. So my life is definitely more easy from that perspective than many of the leaders out there. But I would say to anyone, to any board member, any boardroom, who is obviously respecting the survival of companies, the protection of jobs, and much more. But you don't want to be late in this transition. First of all, except for the ethical, morally right thing to do. If you look at the numbers now, not only kids on the street, but how consumers are interested, how they are worried, how if you want to attract talent today, people expect you to be a leader. That's and true. Most of all, you need to understand that this is your future cost agenda, because if you're not climate smart, you will not be resource smart or cost smart. So you better get on the train and not be left on the platform.
And just one last question about the consumer. Now, people have gone to IKEA for quality at a good value. Are you having to pass on much cost to consumers, and if you are, how do you explain it? How do you make that balance?
Very important question. When we ask our customers recently, 30,000 people in 30 markets, 70% of them. 70% are deeply frustrated about climate change. Only 6% see themselves as part of the solution. And here it comes, only 3% are prepared to pay for it. Now, I understand that because I've been in the homes of ordinary people, and they don't have that money after taxes and rent and food and whatnot. So we need to engineer this model so it's actually cost benefit. And that, I think, is the biggest hope of it all. Would this be charity? It would take longer time, but it's actually defining the new benefits in the new economy. Yeah. So that's not always easy, but that is the journey that we're on to.
All right, well, good luck with it.
Customers shouldn't pay for it.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Jesper. Good luck, and see you around COP.
Thank you so much. Thanks for the opportunity.